Stream?
Now, I think we're streaming. What's up? First off, just wanted to say,
oh yeah, we're there.
Ninja Blender saves me. It's a great blender.
Money cut
Let's
out.
produce this right here. Dayton's checking to see if our live stream's working. We're having some major technical difficulties.
Yeah. No, dude, it's just a 2-second clip.
the most recent one?
Yeah, it's like you and then it shuts off.
It should be streaming right now.
Let me try this again. There we go. Now we're Gucci.
So do you see us?
Yep, we got her.
Cool. Okay, so that's going.
There we
We're
go.
live as fuck.
Oh, live as shit. Let me start. Oh, I gotta start. Arm these puppies. And we're live. Episode 38, boys.
Here we are.
It's great to be sitting with you.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Another day, another dollar.
Yep.
Man, these weeks are cruising by. I don't know what I'm even going to be for Halloween. Jonah, on the other hand,
man.
has that figured out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I totally forgot about that. I haven't really put much thought into that.
I know, it's
coming up
fastly
fast.
approaching.
It
You
really-
gotta figure it out.
I know.
Yeah.
So, Jonah, do you want to share what your Halloween costume is, or are you
No,
gonna
I'm
keep
just gonna wait.
it? Okay.
Yeah, that could be a funny bros little thing we post.
It's gonna be a good one. I've already seen it. It's quite funny.
It featured on my Snap story if you're lucky enough to follow me on Snapchat. But
Sound a little hoarse.
Huh?
A little sick.
I don't know. I feel great. It's the best I've felt, but I don't know if it was maybe this homecoming weekend or something that I was maybe yelling a lot. I don't know.
Damaged the old pipes a little bit.
Yeah, my vocal cords are just not there today. I've been trying to clear my throat up all day, but it's not gonna happen.
Like, is it sore?
No,
Throat?
like I said, I feel amazing. I just can't talk.
Huh.
I don't know.
Irritating.
What can you do?
Why don't you start us off with the ham dog real quick?
Oh yeah.
So they're potentially opening a ham dog restaurant in Manhattan, downtown Manhattan, which is in New York. And so if you guys follow us on Twitter, you can see what these ham dogs look like. But it's literally, they found a way to split the hamburger, the patty, in half and stick a hot dog in the middle. And then the bun is shaped perfectly to get both the hamburger and the hot dog. And it's an amazing design. And so there was apparently a bit of a patent war. And this guy, Mark Murray, an Australian entrepreneur, decided he wanted it. And he put in a lot of money to get this patent. And turns out he officially has it. And he's planning to open this shop up in Manhattan, like I said. But what's really interesting is he wants to get all the funding for the store through Kickstarter and allow everyone to get behind this idea and this first store. So you can technically, like, I could go online and put down $2,000 in Kickstarter and have like a part of this stock, a part of this share.
You can invest.
I can invest in this company that's going in Manhattan.
The
I
ham
thought
dog.
that was really cool. So you guys could type in ham dog on Kickstarter and donate now.
Invest now.
Sponsored by Mark Murray.
That's cool. It's such a unique looking food. It looks really good as well.
I know, it really opened my eyes to the dog. I might even just try a homemade one.
Why
see
not?
what I can do.
You don't need the bun. Just have the hot dog sticking out.
Or just customize the bun.
I used to have at Oakhurst. They used to have this. It was called a hamburger dog, and it was I think, I'm not sure. I guess how they make it. I think it was just a hamburger that they just rolled up like into like a hot dog shape.
Whoa.
But it was massive. It was like the size of a brat. It had cheese melted inside.
Oh, wow.
It was phenomenal.
Do you guys like the cheese hot dogs? Like when there's cheese in them and
Oh,
stuff?
yes.
Absolutely.
You do?
Jalapeno, maybe a little bit of a kick
I
there.
got my
Be
cheddar
nice.
jalapeno sausages in the fridge right now.
Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're spotty. Sometimes
I've
that's
had
some
some
crazy
bad
cheese.
ones.
That's
I've had some bad ones.
maybe that's my experience more. I've had some bad ones. But
I like brats and sausage. That's something. That's a college food. I need to invest a little bit more
it's a
time
summer
in.
food.
Yeah.
I would love to be cooking on a grill. Thank you. I would love to be grilling more often, but
With the apron, a little charcoal going out there,
Mhm.
firing it up.
Speaking of apron, I mean, I was doing some reading on Bobby Flay recently. The guy is an entrepreneur.
Do we have the
magazine?
Yeah, the magazine's
the
it's
coffee,
right behind.
the coffee table accessory.
So yeah, tell everybody how you got that. Who gave it?
Well, so my dad, he gets a ton of magazines.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he gets like swimsuit edition of Sports Illustrated.
He's keeping that one for later.
Like, he's got a lot. He's a
That's the
big
bathroom
believer
reader.
in magazine subscriptions.
He listens, does he?
What?
He listens, does he?
I hope. No,
Oh yeah.
not really.
Shout out to Mr. Bonsai.
But anywho, he saw this. I'm a big Bobby Flay fanatic, really. And I watch anything he does. Like, if I go to New York, I'm going to try and see one of his shows, be Bobby Flay. Like, I just love him. And he's very punny. And anywho, I was reading this article just kind of telling about his life. And turns out the guy dropped out of high school at age 17 because it just didn't work. To put it frank, he wanted to use his hands.
Is that a direct quote from the article?
Basically.
You keep saying that.
Yeah,
It's so
dude,
funny.
he's got a sailor's mouth. Like,
Oh,
they're
wow.
quoting him, and he's like, yeah, fuck high school, fuck that. And he's saying, like, I'm reading this like, dang, I didn't know Bobby Flay spoke like this. I'd love to just chat him up.
Provocative.
Get him on the podcast.
Get him to cook something for
But
us.
no, yeah, so he dropped out of high school at 17 because he wasn't enjoying the classroom setting, and he just wanted to use his hands. He just wanted to get that crafted. And so he's working under all these people, and then he ended up stepping away and opened up a shop with some guy that he ended up cooking for. He like took him under his wing, and then next thing you know, these guys kind of collabed and made a couple restaurants, and then Bobby Flay moved away from him and now has 16 restaurants and continues to expand and is using his name to his maximum. And
So is
and
he the greatest?
Potentially, dude.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Because there's Iron Chefs. And,
Yeah.
And there was a really cool show that was on the Food Network recently. It was just Iron Chef Showdown. And so the way it works is you're in a competition with some of the best chefs in the world. And in each round, you go against each other. And if you're like the worst of that round, you go against the two worst, go against each other, and then they knock each other out.
Oh.
So it keeps chiseling out until there's one final chef. And these are chefs that aren't Iron Chefs. And so then once it's the last person, they go against 3 Iron Chefs. And they have to beat those 3 to be able to become an Iron Chef.
Oh my gosh.
And then the girl that just won it, she beat 2 of them and then didn't beat Bobby. Classic.
Can't beat Bobby. Can never beat Bobby.
But no, in the end of the article, his goal is to bring the Bobby Flay type class food to every person's plate. That's his worldwide dream. Like, that's his mission. To be able that everyone can try what his food tastes like.
I would love to try some Bobby Flay food.
I love that.
Kidding me?
That's what I'm saying. It's great. I love the mission. I love the drive.
Now he's better than Gordon Ramsay, right? Is that pretty much?
Well, that's the
Or is
thing.
that a personal opinion type thing?
They're very different types of cooks too, and they both have their specialties. Like Bobby Flay is really good at spices and peppers and really bringing this kind of heat to the plate,
Yeah.
but then equaling it out with other sweetness. And it's really hard to say who's better because they're just different.
Gotcha.
So, I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I think it'd be so cool to be a food critic, but I'd have to write a couple cookbooks and really get my toes in the water for the whole cooking industry before that happens.
Gotta have street rep in the cooking industry.
You really do.
It's hard knocks.
But do you want to go on the poll?
Yeah.
Because we're already getting a little away from it.
Definitely. So before 59 votes, before we get into it, which is pretty good. We appreciate all the votes, whoever votes. Would you rather be able to see 5 minutes into the future or 100 years into the future at any time? And 59% of people said 5 minutes, 41% said 100 years.
Now, I guess if you could see into the future 5 minutes, you could change it.
Mhm.
Right?
Hypothetically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Depends what it is, I guess.
I
Yes, the
still,
meteor falling on the sky.
Yeah.
There's not a lot you can change.
Yeah, exactly. Like 5 minutes isn't a ton of time. That's why I think I chose 100 years.
Really?
Just because there's certain things that you could change within 5 minutes, but not really, dude. Like if I'm going to take an exam, 5 minutes, I'm already in the classroom. I don't really have much or things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I'm not trying to. 100 years also doesn't help you with that.
Can't change anything in 100
Yeah,
years either.
yeah.
No, that's true.
It's interesting.
5 minutes, you could do a lot. Like, you could scheme up a lot of things. I feel like in 5 minutes, if you're seeing ahead.
Well, you could.
And there's just.
Did you pick 5?
No, I picked 100.
Really?
What did you pick?
I picked 5. I did.
What's your rationale?
I just am not going to be around in 100 years, so if I'm going to see into the
fuck
future, no, that's not the mentality. If I'm just I want something that's obtainable. If I want to be able to see at all, I want something that's obtainable.
Where you can really see causality.
Yeah, kind of. I'm going to see what's going to happen.
What happens?
It might actually happen.
Cause and effect and everything.
I'm not going to be around in 100 years.
The big thing that would be weird is if I saw 5 minutes, and Denny, our roommate Denny brought this up. 5 minutes ahead would potentially ruin my life. Because I could always be worried about what's going to happen in 5 minutes and always be trying to figure that out and this and whatever. Whereas 100 years, I might look ahead and see this brilliant invention or brilliant idea and go, oh, let's cash out. Let's come up with this before. And man, if I'm looking into 100 years, I could be looking into some great design plans.
Yeah, but that changes things because, like, because that'd be changing the future now. If you're looking 100 years into the future and then you create something, then it would change the whole landscape of everything.
Well, yeah.
Which
is just part of it. Because you said you could change the future technically with 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So that's part of it.
You could make bigger changes, like that actually affect like.
That's what would be crazy. Like you
worldwide
could,
rather
bigger
than
scale.
like than like a personal like.
You could have a worldwide effect.
Definitely. Bigger scale.
Imagine the whole gambling scene 5 minutes ahead. You're instantly rich. There's no other choice behind it.
The casino.
Instantly, snap a finger. You walk the casino and you win.
No, they kick you out,
but still.
Yeah.
Travel.
No, you still make a lot of money.
They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know what you're doing.
If you're on the roulette table and you're killing it, you can't really control that game.
Yeah.
Unless you've got some.
Imagine like picking black, picking red on the.
Just subtly.
Just nothing. Like it's nothing.
A little bit here, a little bit there. Walk out, bankrupt that bitch.
But then, man, you could prove global warming exists. The fact that no, I'm talking 100 years though.
Yeah, you switched real quick.
No, just.
It's an extreme example.
I'm just trying to think what I would see 100 years from now.
Nobody knows.
I would just see some major implications of global warming. I guess I don't want to jump ship.
If the Earth's still around.
I really want to tell you guys about this star collision that happened.
Oh, please, yes.
So, this is actually the first ever seen, and they're called neutron stars. And so these stars are actually the size of about Chicago in diameter. That's what they related
it's not
to.
Even really that big.
Not like one of the smallest star they can kind of pick.
That's tiny.
Pretty much.
So this thing was actually fairly close to us, and the first time we've ever seen it in humanity's history. The only time that we can slightly relate to it is we watched black holes collide and intersect.
Wow.
But then at the same time, you can't really see it. There's no light emitting or anything. So all we got was just gravity, like little bumps in our radars, and that was the only thing we could take away from it was how fast that travels and this and that. But these we could actually see, and to kind of show I have a picture of it somewhere, but we'll put it on our Twitter. But these things look crazy, and to replicate, they're 10 times stronger than anything the sun has ever emitted.
Oh wow!
So more energy
was neutron stars themselves, or after they collided.
So once they collided, they created 10 times more energy than the sun has ever produced throughout its entire lifetime.
Because those things are so small and have such a compact center that there's a shit ton of energy in those things.
Exactly. And it was just apparently they took a lot of info. It was 10 seconds. And in this 10-second period, like I said, it produced that much energy. And then they were looking at how the lights moved and the waves and this and that, everything. It was apparently this really evolutionary finding. And just to really give validity to our expanding universe.
So how close was this to us? So we could see it, but how close do you know?
Light years away.
I think so. I don't think it was terribly far.
Okay.
I don't know what that really means
So
though.
how far out there it was. You know?
But I just couldn't believe the whole sun thing. That
Yeah.
literally in a 10-second period, it released more energy than the sun ever has ever.
10 times. Look, that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's insane.
It'd be pretty hot, right? I mean, just,
It just kind of also
Campfire.
scares you too. Like,
Big stand next
what
to
if
the
people
furnace.
are
Yeah.
what if people are able to create something like that?
Something with that much energy.
yeah.
I mean, for real though.
That's like something that would destroy
Yeah, it would
our
Everything.
planet.
It would destroy our solar system.
Yes.
potentially.
Could.
It's just wild. It's crazy that apparently it was just this weird collision that they almost didn't even really see coming. It was just far out in the space sphere, and all of a sudden these neutron stars all of a sudden collided or something.
Dang.
Which
That's
is
somebody's job.
insane.
That's somebody's job to
Monitor that.
just monitor stuff.
Always
like
have
That's
an
a
eye
lot
on
of people's
stars.
job.
Yeah.
Well, pretty cool.
If NASA offered you a job, would you take it?
I
Jonah?
mean, I'm not going to blindly
What would you
accept
want to handle?
any job.
No, but if it's career.
I would love to work for NASA if it's the right job. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
going to take a job for NASA sweeping the floors, but
I think that might even still be sweet.
Just to be a fly on the
Yeah.
wall.
maybe right now, not as a career.
No, but like an internship for a summer at NASA and
Oh,
go
absolutely.
there and
Oh, dude, I love space.
what if you ended up just on a spaceship on accident? Maybe you're sweeping or something and you end up in the back of that bitch and you go to the moon.
Don't get this twisted. I'm going to the moon.
It's just a matter of when.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once they have those commercial flights to the moon, I'll be hopping.
Will you go to Mars?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going everywhere.
Go chill with Matt Damon over there.
Damn straight.
Man.
We're gonna throw a shit ton of potatoes. So I didn't have like a ton coming in, but I have a bunch now. I saw a headline that I just saw where you're telling that space thing. 1 in 9 American men, you saw this, didn't you, has oral HPV. It's frightening.
That's a lot.
10% of us.
So what is that?
I'm vaccinated.
So am I.
I hope I'm good. I hope I'm all right. But I think that vaccination is relatively new, because I remember like going to the pediatrician being like, we have this new vaccine. So I don't know if that like maybe will fall, but it's a little alarming.
Just
Yeah.
wash
So
your
what
hands.
what does that bring to the table?
I don't know. I just read the headline.
Like, what is really HPV gonna harm people or harm me?
It can cause cancer in several areas of the body, including the throat, anus, penis, vagina. Nearly
it's-
all men and
it's-
women will become infected with at least one type of HPV. Okay, so
So that's herpes.
no,
Or is it different than herpes?
no, HPV is its own
Oh.
thing. It's a human. I'm not even gonna try to say that. It's a virus, so
Yeah.
like it's not like herpes where you have it.
We're not gonna it's not gonna visually show itself. It's just gonna be, you're just gonna have it.
I don't know. I don't want to say something that's wrong because
That's alarming.
I'm not educated. But I saw that and I was like, damn.
Well, what was
I
the
hope
thing?
I'm not one of
Well-
those 9.
Go ahead.
No, I have a current event in Madagascar. Have you guys heard what's going on there?
No idea.
There's a plague breaking out and 63 people have already died.
What type of
It's
span? Time
it's
span?
how long does it take to kill you?
No, I'm
Or-
saying 63 people
Oh.
have died in what
Oh.
amount of time? Like 63 people this year, or 63
Yeah,
people
no,
this week?
this year. It's getting worse, and they think people might start traveling because of the holidays coming up, and they're worried it's going to get into major cities.
Huh?
Dude, that's scary, because when I was sick in Africa, I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast. When I was sick, like, I didn't know what I had until I got back, but I was sick as a dog, and there was no measures taken. Like, I could have had anything and coming back, like, and came
That's
back
a good
and
call.
like,
Like,
I
we
was
could've
never
got-
I was never checked for anything before coming back in the United States. Like, I was never screened.
You could have
Nothing
been
like
the
that.
forefront of a
Right, like,
Life-
I could have brought back Ebola,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
nobody would have
Theory.
known.
and killed like
Exactly.
millions
I
of
mean,
people.
like, I obviously didn't have like a disease like that, but that's all it
Damn
takes. Like,
near.
somebody traveling to a foreign country and getting something and bringing it back. Like, there's no real
pretty easy.
screening.
Yeah, and how do you screen? I mean, to stop everybody that's coughing. I mean,
Right.
because some of those people have it, and you never expect it. That's
Oh,
why
and if I was asked, I wouldn't have said I felt like crap. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
you
I
just wanna
trying
get
to
home.
I don't care.
We would have been the first ones to go.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Jay
We did
would
the.
have
I didn't see you
infected
guys.
us.
No, because I didn't see
No,
you
it
Not
guys.
the
wasn't
first
CDs.
ones,
It was-
but-
he was in and out of Hurley MC.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Dude, They said I was in the ER at Hurley. None of the ER docs on staff at that hospital, which is a level 1 trauma center, have ever seen what I had.
Wow.
Literally, they were all like, "We have never seen this in this hospital."
I don't
before."
believe it.
I was like, "That's kind of sweet."
Were they just poking you with a ton of shit? Did you have
Dude, I
IVs?
got poked
and-
so much
Yeah.
that week. I had like 8 IVs in like a 6 days.
Did you ever go in submission? They ever put you under?
tie you down because you're not reacting to the medication.
I got a frontal lobotomy,
Oh my gosh.
shock therapy.
I don't think, is that even legal anymore?
Oh,
Shock
absolutely
therapy?
not.
I didn't think it was. It's
No.
pretty inhumane.
What's the show that they do the shot?
American Horror Story.
Oh no, I was not.
Oh.
No, you're thinking about the league.
The league.
Oh yeah, the league. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
They do it in American Horror Story too. Not what you were thinking of.
Do you guys remember the podcast Serial? I'm sure you guys do.
Of course.
Cereal.
The one about Adnan and he like supposedly killed that girl in high school and then he was in prison. You never listened to that podcast?
No.
It blew up.
No, I don't think so.
So they had the first season was by far the most popular. They made a second season.
It wasn't very good.
And it was decent. I listened to about half of it. It was about this guy named Bo Bergdahl, who was an army deserter. And basically, the whole point of the Serial podcast is to take crimes that people committed or like allegedly committed,
Break 'em
and
down.
kind of break them down and raise questions like, is this actually what happened? So this guy, Bo Bergdahl, walked away from his post in Afghanistan
Oh, I
in
remember
2009.
That's right.
And got captured by the Taliban and was held captive and tortured on and off for 5 years.
Oh my goodness.
In 2014, Obama basically made a deal with the Taliban, so they released him and we released I think 5 Taliban inmates from Guantanamo Bay, which was a controversial
Yeah.
thing at the time. But so he today just pleaded guilty to desertion and misbehavior charges toward the enemy. So the desertion carries a maximum of 5-year sentence, and then the misbehavior carries a maximum of life sentence.
Oh my gosh.
But there's a lot of I think the ex-retired Lieutenant Michael Flynn, so the ex-National Security Advisor, he was in the news a lot, came out and said he doesn't think the guy should go to jail. He's been through enough.
Jeez.
But so he supposedly walked away because he wanted to draw attention to things he thought was going wrong in Afghanistan, the systematic downfalls and what was going on. So that's why he walked away to draw attention. He ended up getting captured
I remember that.
shortly after leaving.
Dang, so he's probably going to prison then? That's what it sounds like?
Yeah, they're
feel
not
bad.
sure yet. He pleaded guilty. They're saying he has a slight mental disorder. I don't know if that came while he was captured. It makes sense for him to develop that while he was there.
Yeah, 5 years.
Being tortured and
He
on and
was
off.
put in cages and in
Oh.
boxes.
Can imagine.
Terrible. But so it's but yeah, he's pleaded guilty.
So he might be going back into some shitty conditions right after he's already been told.
Whatever,
Okay.
Wherever he's going,
It's
is
better than it was.
not even comparable.
Yeah, but still, he might have to go to prison. That would be so unfortunate.
And kind of, but he put a lot of people at risk.
Yeah, no, you can't leave your post. You can't leave your
They
post.
had massive search parties for this guy when he first left, because obviously they didn't know what happened for a while. He put a lot of other people at risk by doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I see both sides. I understand that maybe he shouldn't go, but at the same time,
You can't do that.
No.
because there was rescue missions for him. People could have died.
And it's
'Cause
not
this
like
guy just wanted to walk away.
right. It's not like he was at his post and in the middle of the night he got taken and he just got up and left. Right?
Yeah,
Just
he was
decided
in the
to-
middle of a shift and he just got up and walked off.
Yeah, that's suspect.
So
It's irresponsible.
And then moral of the story is cereal has never helped anybody. It's unsuccessful.
I have never heard of that podcast.
And locked up.
you should listen to the first season. It's actually
We legit sat down in our forensic science class for
Listened to it
about
for like
2 weeks. Listened to an
Episode
entire
a day.
podcast.
There's like 14
Oh
episodes.
my gosh.
That's all we
That
did.
sounds fun.
It was
honestly-
really fun.
And honestly, dude,
I
like,
loved it.
You were you were so
Captured,
attentive
yeah.
by it, like,
Captivated. And
yeah, it was really
It was
good.
a very good podcast.
The second one
When
was
it was
even
first
better.
coming out, when it was getting popular.
Yeah, so I saw that and I was like, that's interesting.
Totally.
Current event. I have some oil rig news. It's been a theme
I
around.
know you're big on
Yeah.
oil rigs.
I know. Well, it's actually live everywhere right now. An oil rig off the coast of Louisiana is leaking right now.
Really?
After the hurricane?
I don't know. I don't think it was the hurricane. They think it was an explosion on the deck due to just chemicals and all the dangerous things they work with. But
Oil rigs were scary, dude. Those things are
I know.
poised.
You know a lot about oil rigs, don't you?
I mean, I do now. I didn't before, and then I watched a couple movies and a couple documentaries. Now I'm an expert. But yeah.
So just to, because a lot of people don't know anything about this, and I know a little bit just
Yeah.
from what I watched. So these oil rigs are like floating in the oceans.
Oh,
right?
they're floating hotels in the middle of the ocean,
and they just drill hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of feet down.
over a mile below
They're-
sea level.
They're miles out in the ocean. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
40, 50, 60 miles sometimes. Just depending where the oil is. You got to go where the oil is.
Wow.
And there's all these wells underneath the seabed.
And they just tap into them
Yeah.
and then store it on boat.
Yeah.
Is that how big
they
these
pump
things
it
are?
from boat to boat. And
yeah,
then
they have
they
like
send
they
in
have
boats
they
to
have
Yep.
ships that like come and pick it up.
Gotcha.
So they don't actually store it on the rig. Do that?
And then it's all
not
about
really.
controlling the pressure of this thing.
Yeah.
because I can imagine those oil things
Oh,
are insane.
yeah, it's questionable. I was gonna ask you guys because BP and 61.1 billion was how much money they lost. That's the figure. And there's got to be another way.
One thing that I just actually started thinking about was the oil industry, like you said, the rigs are out in the middle of the ocean, they're everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
Like you said,
Yeah.
you gotta go where the oil is. So these oil companies are all over the world. When I went to Africa, I met a lot of people in the oil industry, and they all work together, but they are all like literally. I met multiple different groups of people who worked in the oil industry, who each one of them were different parts in the world, different countries, different continents, and it just kind of makes you think like these guys get together once a month, once every few months, and work together, but like they're from different walks of life. You wonder if there's a lot of miscommunications that happen on there,
Yeah.
just because different cultures, different parts of the world.
Who knows?
You know, does that lead to it? There's a lot of different moving parts on there that I feel like it's easy for stuff to go wrong.
And it's a lot of it's greed too. You
Oh,
spend a lot
yeah.
of money to find something that there might be oil here, but it might not be safe.
Safety is a lot of times secondary.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be obviously.
And that's what happened at BP, right? They just wanted the oil so bad.
It wasn't
they rushed
stable.
it.
They already spent a ton of money trying to find it and put all the piping in, and it was too to them it was too late to go back. They just would lose a ton of money, but they did it anyways, and lost 61 something bill in the process. So what's the bigger bill there?
And there's so many people now that just refuse to even get BP. They won't stop on the highway. Like, screw BP.
Not good for PR.
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah.
It's very big. But then all at the same time, oil's that kind of resource that people don't really care where they stop. They just want the cheapest oil.
Oh no. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where they're not getting,
I mean,
like,
it
brand
does-
loyalty is nothing really in the oil
Not
industry.
usually.
It doesn't deter me from stopping.
Exactly.
Doesn't for me anyways.
Going on a sort of a kind of a darker note, but a really cool, interesting Netflix show that my brother brought me onto. It's called Mindhunter, and this show is based out of the 1970s. And it looks at, so the main character is an FBI guy, and he tries to basically, he works in the elite serial crime division of the FBI, and so he'll go to cases where people are holding him hostage and they're having a mental breakdown and they're holding their wife hostage, and he's the guy that talks him out of it and tries to get him out of it. But then he not trying to give anything away, but he ends up being a teacher and trying to learn about how these guys have this mental break, why they what happened in their younger lives that brought them to be this serial killer. And so they'll look into it. It's unbelievably interesting and showing like little motives that might have kickstarted this weird little thing that started in mind. And they'll bring up like Charles Manson, which is like real live cases.
Oh yeah.
And how just these brutal murders that happen in California, and it's unbelievable, and there's a lot of knowledge to be learned at the same time. And I think he stabbed one of his victims 51 times. Charles Manson. And just figuring out like why someone does something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think Charles Manson killed somebody.
He was the culprit behind.
Yeah, he was
one
like
of his.
the
I guess
mastermind.
one of his
The brain,
cases. A person was stabbed 51 times.
Those people are crazy.
But it's just like, how do you get someone to be that crazy? How do you?
No.
Yeah, no. But if anyone's looking for it's just crazy to watch, and and one of the really cool things too is it's based in 1970, so it kind of has that older feel and cool. And it's just kind of retro and fun to watch.
Is it basically just clues to try and find the snap?
Yeah. So and just to kind of set the base of the show, it's them kind of first learning that, because everybody in that time period, they believe that you're born crazy and that's it. That in 1970s, everyone just assumed these people are crazy. There's nothing you can do to predict it. There's nothing you can do to stop it. But really, they're starting to really have this forefront research and finding that there's reasonings in their childhood, or that they were raised with their family, this and that, their mom's abusing them, their dad's doing this, that have led to these kind of crazy people.
Sounds intense.
It's really intense. I just started episode 3.
Is it a?
Oh, and you're hooked already. That's cool.
I was hooked.
Is it a fictional show, or is it a?
Well, I don't know. They have very legit facts in there, but I feel like the cases they're covering are fictional.
Okay.
They might be based off.
It's a Netflix original.
Like a realistic fiction.
Could be, yeah.
It's a realistic fiction.
Right.
That's what I would say. But yeah, if you're looking for something interesting.
I couldn't watch the rest of Dexter. I don't know. Is it more intense than Dexter? Is there a lot of gore and stuff? Because I like TV shows, but before bed is like the only time I watch them. And Dexter was hard for me.
It is a little spooky because you just hear what these people have to say about even just these people. It's kind of disturbing, like what these people do, and so that could kind of. But there's not a lot of gore thus far or anything, and because Dexter is kind of like really showing you the ins and outs of murder.
I've never had a problem with scary movies or anything, and as soon as Dexter came around, my sleep schedule was messed up.
Totally.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, Netflix is pretty, and then it comes out October 27th, the season 2 of
Stranger Things. Yeah.
Did you confirm that was the 27th?
It's confirmed.
27th?
No doubt.
Alrighty. Oh, I'll be tuning in.
I found this really cool thing on the Dubai Police Force. So, the Dubai Police Force has a line of luxury vehicles, patrol vehicles. They have Lamborghinis, Audis, Ferraris, all these super high class cars that they have as patrol cars. But that's not why I was bringing it up.
That sounds like corruption to me. Why tax dollars going to that?
They spend a shit ton of money.
Oh my God.
Tax dollars going to a Lambo?
Yeah, so they're spending more money. They just tested out a flying motorbike patrol. So it literally is it looks like a motorcycle drone. So it has propellers on like where the wheels would be.
Front and back.
Two on the front, two on the back.
Wow.
And it flies, and they would be able to patrol over the roads.
So I was gonna ask how high.
I don't know. The video I saw of them testing it. The guy wasn't going very high, but it looks like it could go higher. Which is cool. Can you imagine the police flying
just
over
in the sky?
I mean, that's a step. I mean, how long? Once that happens, I mean,
and everyone's
how long until flying cars or anything? Or
yeah. How are they
until
gonna,
those bikes become a little commercialized?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Sweet.
how, like, are police going to be the only one that have access to
Right.
those because they don't want people flying in the air?
But I saw that. I was like, holy
Now
shit.
you got air traffic going
Got
on.
air traffic.
Police are gonna be air traffic up there. You got to watch out for.
Gotta have air stoplights.
So
Dang.
Wow. Yeah, that's really
We're
cool.
there. We're here, guys.
I'm going to Dubai.
Yeah.
Isn't the tallest building in Dubai?
Was at one point.
I believe so.
Who knows now? I feel like it changes a lot.
Is it Mission Impossible?
People are. The new
Tommy
one?
Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
You don't
I don't
watch
know about
those.
the new one.
You don't
it's
watch
pretty
them.
new.
But you don't actually watch the series of movies, do you?
Mission Impossible 3, great
Oh
movie.
my gosh.
If you have the time, it's worth it.
Oh, I have the time.
Those are the bikes. Wow.
Oh yeah, so they go high.
I was thinking, we have all these cool articles. Do you think people would be genuinely interested in subscribing to a newsletter? And I would send the articles with pictures, and
Maybe.
every week after our podcast, I send an email and they get what we talked about, and if they want to look further into things.
We should
People,
get some feedback from a couple
Look at how
people.
high
See.
this thing goes.
yeah, maybe they'll listen and kind of tell us. But
Whoop. Like that.
Oh. Wow.
But yeah.
yeah, very cool. I like that. The last thing I want to touch on, there's they didn't really disclose their name, but it's a private organization that is attempting to start designing buildings that are structured for mass shootings. And so I know we've talked about it, and they just say it's so hectic, no one really knows where to go, and then it's just masses of people moving.
Yeah.
And so what's really cool is one of the first buildings they're replacing that is designed to be mass shooting proof per se is Sandy Hook Elementary. And so they took out the entire elementary and they're putting in like this new safety. So there's bulletproof windows and you can shoot them, and then you'd have to take a sledgehammer for like 15 minutes to be able to break into these windows.
Wow.
And all the doors automatically deadbolt lock when they're closed. And then the main doors have even tighter security to get through.
Sandy Hook, when that shooting went down, actually had like a pretty decent security. Like it's for an elementary school. Like they had the doors were locked. You had that like camera you had to talk to.
Yeah.
That just shot out the windows.
Yeah. Yeah, so these are bulletproof, and then also a really cool thing is they did a million of these computer simulations just to see how a crowd of people reacts to something like that. And so they try and make tons of different lanes for these people to separate in, so that it'll lower the amount of deaths by significant. Because if everyone's running a big glob, they can just fire into
one
that
big
glob.
target.
And so they're trying to give like multiple paths that all these people can deviate in different directions and still be safe. And it's just a really cool concept. And they're huge advocates for gun safety and gun gun control in general. And then on top of that, they want to hopefully kind of get these guidelines and get this like expected in a lot of buildings for the future.
Right.
And things like
It's
that.
just so sad.
code
that
or
we
something.
It's so sad that we just have to like design buildings for that.
Yeah.
It's
That we have to.
ridiculous.
But it's the world we live in, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you wonder, do we take the problem into our building structure, or we take the problem to the guns? It's a decision.
It's a
for-
higher powers decision.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's-
anything we're gonna make strong efforts towards. So we can just shed light. But yeah, did you guys want to touch on anything else before we?
I found an article. I tried to read as much as I could right before we started. China has China has an 8.5 ton space station that is expected to crash into the Earth between October and April of 2018. So they just informed the UN that they're expecting this to happen, or I guess it says that it could happen at the late 2017 or early 2018, which is that's a lot of fucking weight coming down fast. Like that's almost like a meteor.
I wonder if it's just out of commission or what.
So they're saying it's like slowly decaying and falling apart a little bit, and it's starting to dip lower and lower into the Earth's atmosphere. And but they said that they expect most of it to burn up on entry. So I don't know how much
Maybe we'll catch a piece of it or something.
Maybe.
Oh, but some chunks weighing up to as much as 220 pounds could hit the surface.
Wow.
So is that one chunk that's 220 pounds? Is that multiple? And then where? You know what I mean? If that's in a city,
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
But if it's in the middle of the
If it's in the
no
ocean,
one
it's
even
no big
blinks an
deal.
eye. Yeah, no, that's interesting.
I'm gonna sit with a baseball mitt and just try and catch some pieces
I
flying
wonder,
out.
like, how much something like that would be worth. Ben in
That'd be
space,
yeah.
selling on eBay, selling on.
That's a good point.
I feel like that would go pretty expensive in an auction.
It would be so.
Maybe even has a little Chinese
Illegal?
lettering on it.
Would it be illegal? I feel like. I
No,
mean,
it wouldn't be illegal.
It's in my
You would-
fell in my property.
It wouldn't be.
Like a crater in your backyard, and all there is about this basketball-sized shaped metal ball.
You wouldn't be able to tell what
And
it
there-
was.
the
It'd be
Chinese
so-
and
flag on
you
it.
can
It'd
see
be
a couple
so-
of Chinese
it'd be so-
letters on the
It'd
side.
be so burnt. and mangled.
Jackpot!
Tuition. Here we go.
We were talking about this recently. I wonder, it would be so cool to just come up with a weird idea, whether that's a new way to flip a pancake that makes you like straight up 5 million. Just the idea.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be just awesome? I would love that.
No, dude, that's not. Why would I ever want to do that?
No, I'm just trying. I'm kind of waiting for it to happen. I'm
Josh
just always
sitting up in his
exploring
room, just looking at the
I'm
wall,
always
just waiting for
exploring
something to hit him.
peculiar things to
between
see
the
if there's
ears.
an easier way to do it.
All right, it's gonna come any second now.
That's the thing is these inventions that people make a lot of money off. You're sitting there, you're like, how the hell did I not think of that?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like it's just
That's how it
somebody
goes.
doing something. Just be there's
Because
gotta be an
there's
easier way.
someone that invented the patent for coffee cups to have the slide-in thing. That guy is so rich because of it. Because every
Just
person
'cause his
that,
hand was hot when you grabbed
Yeah.
the coffee.
exactly. Like, why couldn't I think of that the first time I grabbed the coffee? That's what I'm waiting for with all this new technology coming out. I just got to have a little accessory for it that I toss a patent on, and I'm good.
It's true.
Yeah. PR? Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? This is what I think about on the daily.
That's great.
But any final stories you guys want to touch on? What's sports-wise? Anything crazy in those
Playoff
words?
baseball,
Playoff
balls
baseball.
deep.
What's the
ALCS.
status?
We're in the ALCS
Who's looking good?
It's gonna be the Astros and the Dodgers most likely in the World Series.
Are they both up 2-0?
They're both up 2-0, and the Astros play tonight, Game
Nice.
3.
Nice.
NBA season starts tomorrow.
Oh,
Cavs Celtics tomorrow night. First game.
Oh, let's go.
No kidding.
Football, full swing.
Oh, and big game at 9:45
Oh
tonight.
yeah, huge game.
There's a
Holy
It's a
cow!
playoff
I might have to
game.
live stream that.
Yeah, tune in for that, guys.
It
Nine-
is huge.
9:45 tonight. The Corkwood squad
I didn't know our
goes.
name. I'll be dead honest.
Goes.
You don't like our name?
I didn't know it. I
Oh.
was gonna say Corkwood is playing, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
That's us.
we're going for a 3-0 record in October.
Yeah,
That's when we hit our stride.
it's all that matters. I mean,
Best ball in October.
I haven't shaved in a few days, trying to get
Got the
this
playoff.
playoff beard going. And we're just
Yeah.
we're gonna let the bats do the talking. Am I right, boys?
Flash a little leather. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done.
Well, I guess that's gonna do it then. We'll see you
Yeah.
guys next Monday, and wish us luck tonight.
Yep. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, boys. Peace out, YouTube. Hopefully it worked.
It did. It's just dark as shit.
Oh my dark.
Yep.
That's a good cast.
Yeah, that was good.